Hey guys, how you doing? This is Bobby Davis from the tech capital of Kernersville, North Carolina. I am the CEO and founder of Coder Foundry and Cortex, and I'm joined by Kevin Doyle, best producer in the land.
Trying.
All right.
Award-winning, even. Oh, this award-winning,
Award-winning, yeah.
What's my little, what would that be? A Fosca? A Fosca?
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
I don't know.
My better boss moments.
Yep. Oh, it was great. It was awesome.
So I have a few, not many, but yeah.
No, you got plenty. No, you got plenty. You got plenty. It was good. You don't get to judge that. Your employees have to judge that. And I say you've got many, so.
All right, cool. So Dan Reed is asking us a question right off the bat. I've never, I think Dan's new to the channel. Is that shirt available in a 4X with no taper?
Which shirt?
Which shirt, Dan?
So
tell us which one.
Yeah. Maybe the one at the top of the chat, actually. Because there is one in chat on YouTube. We don't get to see it over here. It's kind of weird. So we're in a different. We push to YouTube from a different platform, so we don't get to see it. So it's a You Broke the Build shirt. I don't know if it is actually. It's through Teespring, and it may well be.
Well, let's just go look, Kevin. Let's just go look.
Let's go check it out.
I'm looking right now, and I can go get You Broke the Build shirt. I'd be honored if you'd buy it, if we could get it in your size. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it is the one we're talking about. It says pinned in chat here, and it is. It's the You Broke the Build shirt, which we were wearing yesterday, totally by chance. Yeah. We both wore the same shirt. We don't sell all the shirts on there, but I have this one too. Look, that is my favorite, like Code the Future, the retro shirt. But we made these. These were made locally, weren't they? We had these screen printed local. These aren't.
For some reason, 3X is grayed out. I guess we could reach out to Teespring to see why that's the case.
It could be the kind of shirt that we're printing it on too. I'll look at that actually, Dan, because there may be some of the shirt options through Teespring that I hadn't thought about. I'll take a look at it. I'm gonna make a note of that.
So we can get the bigger one. Maybe it's a different. There's a premium tee, and then there's a non.
Yeah, it might be the fact that it's the premium tee. So I put it on the premium tee, which is which is the same as this. I think it's the Bella Canvas shirt.
Yeah,
which is a super nice shirt, by the way. If you get stuff printed, get them printed on Bella Canvas stuff. It's super comfortable. Super comfortable.
So Adam's calling us out. He's already snarky. You should know more about your own merch.
Hey, I know. Like I order my own shirt, and I'm wearing it. And I'm like, that's it. That's about as much as I know about it. And I make the designs, but that's about it.
So
yeah. And we order stuff all the time. We have merch like in the office all the time.
We do, yeah.
But it's different merch generally. Like the hats are different. Like the beanies we have are from a different person. We source from all over the place.
Yeah.
But Teespring can deliver all across the US and they deliver all across Europe too. So it's kind of cool. They have two sources, which is why we chose to do that. Plus, it's integrated with YouTube too, which is kind of.
And I don't have to like put boxes together and ship stuff.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So, we spent, and I boxed up Estevan's present that we gave him for winning the contest.
That was hand boxed by you, wasn't it? You got that in. You actually did that.
And Estevan probably can attest to that. It looked hand boxed.
Is that not your superpower?
No,
boxing up packages.
So true story. My wife works here, and she does accounting for us. She came back and looked like, says, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
that's funny.
Trying to box this up. It had like too much tape on it, and it wasn't holding the box together. Anyway, I got it. I think I finally got it. Sent it out.
That's awesome. So just know, if you get anything from us ever that's not from like Teespring or a third-party vendor, it's generally, at the moment at least, it's Bobby that boxes it up. Because nobody else is there in the office. Everybody else is remote. So
play golf. 8 weeks vacation.
Yeah. No, unplug toilets and shipping off cans of soda around the world.
Shipping Fizz Buzz around the world. That's kind of cool.
That's funny. Frankie likes this topic today, so that's cool. Yeah, so
we're
going to talk about Blazor today. I was going to give us a demo for some stuff. And then we're going to have a Blazor guest next week too. So we thought we'd do like a pre-Blazor thing because we're going to talk about Blazor with this guy. But we thought we'd give a demo today and give you a little bit about the background of it and that kind of stuff and show you what it actually is before we get into more detail.
So on the 17th, we've got Chris Sanity coming in. He's from the UK, and he runs a site called Blazor, and he has a lot of controls and stuff that he's pushed out on Blazor developer. So he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. Let's say hey to some people too before we jump in here. Brian's back. Hey, Brian. And as I said, and I made a typo in, well, glad you're back, Brian. Say hey to your mom. But I had to correct myself. I hate making that typo. It's the worst thing ever. So welcome back, Brian. BK's back. Welcome back.
BK, what's up?
We appreciate you joining us again. And we're having a good day so far.
Yeah,
I am. Cool. And Dan's here, obviously. Who's asking about the t-shirt. Let's see. Amin's here. Hey, Amin. Estevan's here.
Estevan's got a comment. So he's like, I was impressed with the interestingly wrapped up packaging.
Oh, that's funny. You should have taken a picture of that. You should have put that picture on Twitter, Estevan. That would have been a good one. Like, I got this package today. Here it is.
So, Kevin, when you're wrapping something and it goes wrong and you feel like I should just add more tape to that.
That's what happened. Can you ever have too much tape?
Well, yeah, it's just not working, so, it's kind of funny.
That's funny. What's Maverick saying here? Bobby with Intel firing lead engineer, Apple ditching them. Their stock dipped 16%. AMD killing this. Bam, Slough Association still thinking they're losing. I don't think they are.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think they are.
We need them to win, Maverick. We don't need just because you like AMD that you don't want their competitors to lose. Trust me.
Right.
So the reason you like AMD is because of Intel, and the reason you like Intel is because of AMD. They keep each other honest. I think it's good.
Yep.
I think Apple making their own chips is good.
I do too, and
Absolutely.
that may push Intel to a side. Like I was talking before, 100%. Like my gaming console analogy before with like Nintendo ruling the world and then going away for a little bit. And then they had a niche following and then coming back kind of, but in a different like niche. I wouldn't say hardcore gamers. They choose often Xbox or PlayStation if you're playing console. And then the Switch is like a nice to have.
Yeah.
They don't only have a Switch. I don't know any gamer that is a gamer that only has a Switch.
There's a few, but far and few.
They're very, very, they're just, it's not the thing. It's like, it's a nice to have. So they fill a niche, and that could be the same thing here. Maybe there's a third player coming in.
You know what's crazy? We have a Switch. I think we've turned it on twice since we got it.
Really?
We played Smash Brothers for like 15 minutes one day. And
wow. You need that Zelda game. Everybody gets it for that Zelda game. Yeah, I don't have one, but I haven't played it. But
so we got us a new Twitch follower. Hey, we're up to 13.
Oh, wow. Look. So is it a thing on Twitch to be somebody else? Because we had Marquise Brownlee yesterday.
Today we have Tim
MKBHD. Today we have Tim Cook. So, I don't know. Welcome, Tim Cook. That's awesome.
How's those chips working out, Tim?
Yeah. Give us the scoop. Give us the scoop. We want to know.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is here. Simon's here. BK says, let me know when you have bigger sizes. I'm going to look into that right after this. See on Teespring. We'll talk about that. Maybe when are we back? Monday. We have a live again on Monday. We have a pre-produced video tomorrow, which I just actually was working on right before this.
Cool.
Let's see. Hagayed. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but hello and welcome.
Hey,
thanks for joining us. Furry Papa is back. Show your craft. That's what we're gonna do today. Putting him on the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat.
Oh, there you go. Tim thinks he made the right decision ditching Intel. Okay, Tim, we'll see. We'll see.
Hey.
Get those iPad chips in those Mac Pros, and we'll see what happens.
You can send us out a Mac Pro if you want us to test it out.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to. Hey, did you see though they refreshed the iMac line like yesterday or the day before, and they just refreshed with Intel chips again, like 10th gens.
Right.
So it's like they're still pushing out these updates. I mean, this is like that shows you that model is not going to get Apple Silicon for like at least another year. We're going to see it in mobile first, is my guess. Yeah. Like laptops first. When I say mobile,
like
desktops are going to be a minute. Yeah.
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 Simon wants to know if we're on Twitch. Yes, Simon, we're big on Twitch.
We are tri-casting today. We are. Yeah. We're big on Twitch with all 13 followers on Twitch.
13 followers.
We don't have a big following on Twitch, but we are there.
Double digits simultaneously yesterday. 2.
Did we? Did we?
1.7.
1.7. That was it. 1.7. I saw double digits. That doesn't count.
1.7. One, man.
I'm thinking we didn't get 10 yesterday, did we? I saw it 1.7. I think the 0.7 was probably Andreas, who jumped over from Twitch back to YouTube. So we are over there. We're also
you have 14 now. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
We're taking over.
Whoever's number 14, thank you. If that was you, Simon, thank you. Or anybody. Cool. That'd be great. Maybe it's Tim Cook. Maybe Tim was
Tim Cook. Yeah, we got
14. But we're also on. So we're on. Where are we? We're on Facebook as well. We went back to Facebook as well because Bobby's mom's our one follower there, so we had to go back to do that too. So we're there as well. Yeah. So we're try-casting again today to see how this works.
All right, cool. We got BKG Ben from the United Kingdom.
Oh, cool. Welcome, Ben. Thank you for joining us. Whereabouts in the UK? I'm interested.
Yeah, tell us where you're at.
He's going to follow us on Twitch too. Thank you. All right. Ben, we 15. Appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Over.
Man, if we could hit 20 today, what kind of day would that be? Let's see. Delibor says, the more I watch you guys and enjoying your content, I feel sorry why Java don't have streams with this level of dedication.
Thank you. So we're trying, man. We're trying. We were talking about that this morning about we talk about .NET a lot. So that we're one of the few channels that do maybe.
Yep.
So, my boy Hashim got us a question up.
Oh, is there a new one? Is that what it is? Oh, is there?
Yes, the S20.
Okay.
And it works. There's an announcement today by your favorite CEO from Microsoft, Nadella, is that Samsung's and Windows will work flawlessly between devices. So like you can run your mobile apps natively on Windows, and it goes back and forth between your phone and your PC.
See, that's a cool feature. You may have me at that. That's kind of...
Well, no, if you've got an iPhone and a MacBook, I don't know if that does the same thing.
No, it doesn't. They don't. Okay. Well, right now they don't. Well, so right now they don't, but they will. Well, that is the plan with Apple Silicon, right? So you're going to be able to run the iOS apps on Mac OS like seamlessly, supposedly. So we'll see. So jumping between the two should be easy. I do like the feature of like if I copy something on my phone, I can paste it on my Mac, or I can copy something on my Mac and paste it on my phone. Like that's cool. So there's that little bit of data stuff, which is interesting.
You can answer your phone on Windows.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of cool.
That's cool.
We'll see if it works. I mean, that's what they're saying. I mean,
certain types of, if you have a FaceTime call, obviously you can do that on a Mac and an iPhone too.
What I do love about Samsung in general is because I have a Samsung television, is I can connect my YouTube from my phone right to the TV.
Yeah, that's cool.
Broadcast. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can do that with other devices too.
You can. They all have this kind of like similar feature sets, don't they? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, the other thing I saw too, by the way, with this, and I'm guessing this is for the Note 2, but you're going to be able to play Xbox games on the Samsung devices.
Yeah.
Again, another reason you might have me in on that. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you have to be local. Like, is it just another screen? I don't know. I didn't look at all the details. If it's just an Extreme extension, that's okay. But I want to play an actual Xbox game. Like imagine you're traveling, right? And you take a controller with you and you have your Note and you can play Destiny on the plane.
There's no way that would work.
Hey, I don't know.
It barely works on Xbox.
He says it's cloud streaming using xCloud. Thanks, Simek. Yeah. So you have to have obviously a connection. So I don't know. Could be cool. I don't know. I might be in for that.
Oh, Tim Cook's trying to buy me.
Take a Bobby jump from Samsung to iPhone. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, 10 grand, something like that. How much? Yeah, 10 grand.
10 grand? You're pretty cheap.
Hey,
cheap. I'm already in, but if you want to send me the new one before it comes out, I'll take that, Tim. Yeah. That'd be great.
So.
What else does he say? One Mac Pro with Pro Display coming your way. That's awesome. Hey, I just noticed that the Twitch icons are coming through now, and they weren't coming through before. I don't know why. Yeah. But user profile pictures are coming through. So, and little images are coming through too, which weren't before. So that's cool. Thanks for you guys watching us on Twitch. We appreciate it.
So Ratchet just joined. It's about phones now. We're getting there. We're gonna get the Blazor, man. So,
we're getting there. We're getting
Cook
to the
came
Blazor
on the
stuff,
show,
sorry.
man. We're breaking news over here. So.
Yeah, look. I think when Tim Cook comes on and says he's shipping you a Mac Pro with a Pro display, we're gonna talk about it.
So,
cool.
Well, we got a couple of memes, and then we'll show Blazor here real quick. We're gonna build a Blazor app. So
exciting. Let's do Mavericks memes.
Being meme. So they made a meme about us, which is funny.
Which I will show in a second. It was good. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It's an old joke, which you've heard a lot, but I'm going to show it anyway. So this was Adam's one first, which I liked too. I'm going to blow this up. It's a little bit small still. We've seen another version of this before, but I like this one because it was programmers before COVID, and then entire world during COVID, and then programmers during COVID, because it's like nothing's changed.
Right, exactly. Still don't leave my house.
Exactly. Still stuck in front of the computer pondering.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know this looks weird at the moment, but here we go. And then this, who made this one actually? Quix made this one. I don't know who Quix is here, but if you are here, make yourself known in chat, and I will call you out because this was cool. Yeah. So it's the old C# glasses joke, but it's with us. I thought it was cool.
And then he got the expressions. A lot of work in there. A lot of production value in that.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
We're rocking the I'm here because you broke the build shirt. So
yes, there you go. We were both wearing that shirt yesterday. So that was from yesterday.
And if you haven't bought that shirt, just know that is a quote from myself when I was working somewhere. So
so why did we make that shirt?
Because I was coming in and someone asked, "Hey, Bobby, what are you doing here?" I said, "Because you broke the build. I gotta fix this now. It's Saturday.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here." So it's kind of funny. So anyway, but so I lost my train of thought there. Oh, I've got mine. Can I share my meme?
Oh yeah, you've got one. Yeah,
I've got another one.
Yeah,
I've got my meme. Thought this was great. The job interview. Invert a binary tree on this whiteboard. The job, make the button bigger or make it blue.
And it's sad because it's true.
So true, man. I mean, we see people interviewing candidates for jobs all the time, and sometimes I'll see someone that over-engineers the interview when you know the job is easy. Like, what are you asking about task parallel library for?
Right. Exactly.
Why is that part of your So I think people want to copy what Google's doing, and they think that's the way to do it.
Yep.
But they have a different requirement for their job, so they should interview for the requirements, and they lose out on candidates because they make their interview too hard.
Yeah, they do.
And it doesn't line up with what the real world, what you're asking them to do in real life.
Yep. We've seen one kind of recently, not calling out the company or anything, one recently that was like jumping through mega hoops. To make to basically make something, and they missed out on a great developer who could 100% do the job for some weird reason, because I don't know, the color was wrong or something strange. I don't know the reason, but it was silly.
Silly.
It was crazy. But
all right, cool.
Whatever. So let's talk about Blazor.
Let's talk about Blazor.
20 minutes in here talking about nothing.
So Rafinka, leave this. Should we do it? Let me share my screen here. And let's see here. Get this before. Gotta clean it up here so I don't show everything. Secrets. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my parallels here, and I'm going to show you kind of what we're going to do here. So I've got, and this is kind of simplistic. So I picked something simple on purpose because I wanted to show kind of what Blazor does and what you get out of it, instead of getting into a really kind of deep, giant project tutorial. So you can see where we're going on this. So what we're going to build is this little Fizz Buzz app. It's a little coding challenge. And when you click on this, it can calculate numbers from 1 to 100. It takes the modulus, and this is 3, and this is 7 over here.
So we've built this before in JavaScript, right?
Yeah. And if they're divisible by both, it's Fizz Buzz. So that's kind of what we want to do. But I want to build this in Blazor to show you the power of two-way binding and just show you kind of like type safety and checking in the compiler that makes it a whole lot easier to do than with just pure JavaScript.
So is that why we would build it in Blazor then versus JavaScript?
No, this is why what Blazor can do and why everyone's kind of excited about this. So it's kind of
okay. Cool. So for the uneducated me, what is Blazor? Is it the language? Is it the framework? Is it a tool?
So it allows you to write front end on allows you to write your front end in C#. So where normally you would be writing a lot of things in JavaScript, you now can use C# in that scenario, and it runs at near native speed, so it's a lot more performant than a lot of JavaScript libraries. Out there, and so like everyone's really excited about this. It's really called Webassembly Implementation. It's probably the most far along Webassembly implementation right now, currently.
Okay, this is the same thing that compiles to Java, right? That's what it does.
JavaScript.
So JavaScript. That's what I meant. So you write it in C#, but it compiles to JavaScript.
Yeah, it's still running JavaScript.
It's still running in JavaScript because that's what the browser understands, right? Okay.
Right. So that's kind of how it works. So what I thought we would do is, and if you can see my screen here, this is Visual Studio, and I've just got the kind of the wizard here to create a new app. I'm just going to pick the Blazor app. Now, Blazor comes in two flavors, server-side and client-side. Both are in production now. Both are supported fully by Microsoft for projects right now. So if you want to put something in production, they're saying you can do it with WebAssembly and you can do it with server-side Blazor.
Okay, so, I find that confusing too. Mm-hmm. Two different products, same name. Are they two? Yeah, they are two different products, right?
Yeah. Well, no, you can do the same thing, but like there's two flavors of it. One runs on the server and communicates to the client via SignalR back and forth, and that's called server-side Blazor.
Okay.
And then there's client-side Blazor, which is more akin to a JavaScript scenario where you're writing a full-blown JavaScript application.
Okay.
So there's two different ways that you can do this. The cool thing about Blazor 2 is also there's a lot of work going on inside Blazor itself so that you can, and it's just getting started. So you can have progressive web apps built through Blazor, and there's a lot of demos where you can also run these natively on Mac OS and Windows. So like I think it's going in a really cool direction where WebAssembly is going in general.
Okay.
So let's just check this out and just make one.
There's actually a question here too. I can't say the name, sorry. But binding is in WPF. Does that make sense as a question or no?
So WPF is for Windows. That's Windows Presentation Foundation. So that's another way that you can use C# to build Windows apps.
Okay, but it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fizz Buzz, let's just name it here. Blazor Fizz Buzz, I think that. And I'm going to just pick a repo here. I'll put this on my thing here. I'm going to create code, and then I'm going to make a new folder here.
While you're doing that, by the way, Tim Cook says you're using a Mac. So what's a better example of Mac superiority?
On Windows, running Windows on it.
He's running Windows on it. So
right now.
There you go, Tim Cook. Take that. The best of both worlds, right?
All right. So like I'm just gonna hit create here, and so I'm just showing you how kind of easy it is to get started. Now here's the two flavors, and so what we're gonna do is WebAssembly, which is a client-side thing right now.
Okay.
And we're not going to cover authentication. That would just make things too complicated for today. And maybe in another scenario, we'll show you how to secure these apps and then maybe go into a database backend for it.
Okay.
But for today, this is going to be a pure kind of Fizz Buzz, no database, no authentication, just kind of runs. And we'll see kind of what happens here when it runs.
Okay. So and while that's running, yes, SciMac, it is Parallels on Windows.
Yeah,
on Mac to host Windows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I see Antonio entered down here too. Thanks, Antonio.
Yeah, thanks. So right now I've got a solution put together here, and this is Visual Studio Community Edition. So you can get this for free, and then you can run whatever you want on this. And so this isn't VS Code's Visual Studio. So I like Visual Studio for this, even though I think you can run it inside of VS Code. Haven't tried. So let's go through kind of like the overall of our project. And so the project comes up with these shared pages, and these are called components, and they have like a Razer extension here, and these are called Razer components. And then we also have pages as well, and they're also Razer components. But how this works is it all runs through this one, because this is a single page application scenario. It all runs through this one index HTML, and everything runs through this HTML page right here. And Blazor is being served up through this blazor.assembly.js. So everything happens in here. All right. So what it means is that I can style this with Bootstrap or any kind of HTML framework that I want to use. Also can call other JavaScript frameworks. There's a JavaScript interrupt with this that you can do. I'm not going to show that today, but so anything that you can do on the web today, you also can do inside of a Blazor project. All right. But we're going to stick with the power of C# and what we can do. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is just change the title of this page real quick. And we're going to come back to this page because we're actually going to add a style sheet in here. So just
can you blow up the font size a little bit too?
Yeah.
It's going to be a little small.
Let's see if I can get it bigger here.
There we go. That's going to be better.
Scroll around a little bit more.
Yep.
So then this right here is the www root folder. There are pages folder, and then we have some shared folders. In here, we have a component that's going to house our menus, and we're going to add a new page here. As you can see here, this is built with Bootstrap. I think this is 4.3. We can go check that by looking at the CSS here under Bootstrap to see kind of what it is. Yeah, it's 4.3. So, which means that I could put Bootstrap 5 in this if I wanted to.
Oh,
I know
cool.
It's an alpha, but you could change it out. So all of the things that you're not really locked into like how they did it, that's just how they built this template. So just remember that this is HTML and JavaScript. It's just that in between we have Blazor, so we can write C# on our front end. All right, so let's run this guy and see what it looks like here and what's happening.
I'm always intrigued as to what you get straight out of the box. Like, what do you get when you just create something and it just like, bam, it just runs. It's interesting.
So it does have to compile. So it's a little bit different than, say,
and that's because it's creating the JavaScript part, right? So it has to compile into that so it can run it.
Mm-hmm. And if you notice in Visual Studio, we have our own web server here. So that's ISS Express running. So it's serving it up for us. And so, of course, hello world.
See,
like all good apps should be hello world, right?
This is kind of nuts. It's also like that demo when Jason did the C# thing the other day, where it's like, or last week, it's like, look how much you get straight out of the box. Just, you get a nice gradient like menu down the left there and 3 pages that work. Like,
no, we're going to change this menu color because I hate it. But like, we're going to do
I actually like it. But
yeah.
You know, I'm a sucker for a blue-purple gradient.
Yeah. So, so we got this fetch data. We're not going to go through that. You can actually run this straight out of Visual Studio, and you can see how they did this. But there's a JSON file back here that they're just loading in weather data. And then this counter here, as you can see, there's no post back. And this is what they're showing as I'm clicking through here, just like you would with a JavaScript on-click event.
Okay.
This is integrating, incrementing a counter, and there's no post back. So if you're used to things like active server pages, .NET or MVC, when you have an action, those actions run on the server. So there is a post back from the client to the server. And Blazor server side, it's still real time. They're just using something like SignalR, so you don't have a post back event. But today we're just going to talk about client. So this doesn't do a whole lot, but it's kind of cool. I mean, so first off, let's make this our own and just show you how we can change this UI so you can know that you're not locked into, purple and blue side banners. What if your company had orange flavor to it?
Then you should still stick with purple and blue. No, I don't know. I'm a sucker for purple.
Yeah, I'm going to use my jam here, UI gradients, and we're just going to pick one that we like here and just change it.
Here's a question. Is this the Fluent design they call. I've not heard that term. You familiar with that term?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah. So, we could pick something called Lawrenceum.
Nah, definitely not. Go with King. Go with anything but that.
But this color looks untrustworthy.
Go with anything but that. Celestial, I like that one.
Yeah. So
you see, that barely even changed. It was a different shade of blue and purple.
So Joomla looks very trustworthy. So
okay, I like it.
I'm gonna get this CSS here, and I know kind of how it's put together, so I'm just gonna copy this one line for now. But you could copy the whole thing if you wanted. So let's go make this blue. All right, and so we'll go there. So I'm going to go to here, and I'm gonna make this blue. So check this out. It's kind of neat. And I'm gonna go to my app CSS. And this is where the main CSS is for this Blazor app. And I just know where it's at. So you can see now I have this sidebar thing going on, and so we're going to change this to blue.
That's funny. Maverick says he also uses UI gradients for all his coding projects.
It's cool, man. No, it's cool.
Yep. Gradients are still hot too. Definitely from a design perspective, I use gradients on a lot of stuff. You notice all of our YouTube cards have gradients. Most of them do.
Yeah.
They're still cool.
Yeah. So now I refreshed my page, and bam, now it's blue. It looks way better.
Priorities, right? You can't. Yeah. You're like, I cannot work under these blue and purple conditions.
Right. I also don't like taking just straight demos right out of the box and just show the same thing. So, but I just wanted to show you that because this is HTML, you can make this look however you want. This nav bar could be at the top, it could be at the side, it could be at the bottom. You could build slide outs. There's all the stuff that you normally would do with a JavaScript HTML environment, you can do with a Blazor app.
Yep.
And this is just to show you that, hey, we could change this and make it our own. We don't have to be purple.
Andreas doesn't like gradients. His flat colors are the way to go. You're wrong, Andreas.
That's all good.
You're wrong.
So now we've got to let's look at our pages here, and I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to show you what a page looks like.
I have a question from Troy too while you pull this up. He says, so the component-based front-end part of Blazor is similar to React?
Maybe. I would have to go. I haven't really contrasted it between React, but React has components. So in that realm, he's correct that you build these components and then you inject them into the page.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what was going on with Blazor. So like components is where everything, it's kind of always been that way. We just are now calling them components. You know, to like, we always had like a render body and MVC, and you'd get like partials into a page and things like that. And so that's kind of component based. And then web forms before that even had something else. So master pages and things like that. So we're going to build a brand new page, but I wanted to show you how this kind of worked. And you can see here at the top of every Blazor page, you still have a route that you needed to tell the compiler what the route is to this page so it can find it. If I see people making these and they can't find out why they can't find my page, just because they forgot the page directive at the top. And here it's just straight up HTML.
Yeah.
And then we have a straight up button here with an on-click event like you would in JavaScript, except now we have...
the only thing I'm not familiar with here is those @ signs mixed in.
Yep, that's it. And that just allows us to run code and allows the compiler to find what needs to be executed in WebAssembly. And so here's what's cool. This is what I want to show you. So let's say if I was doing this in JavaScript, I could have an on-click, and you've seen me do JavaScript tutorials all the time, and I misspell this. Okay, and I'm going to stop this from running right now. Check this out. See, the compiler tells me that that doesn't exist. And the only way in JavaScript that you would find out that exists is when you
wouldn't work
and it blew up.
Right, it wouldn't work.
And you're like, why didn't that work? I clicked the button, and then you have to go back and look at your component, and it says, hey, that's not found, or and so it's telling me right away that this doesn't exist. And then when I kick it back off, now the compiler goes out and says, oh, increment count, I know what that's at. Right. So it's kind of cool. All right. And so when I click this button, I'm implementing a variable right here, I'm doing a plus statement, very simple add to the current value, and I have a private variable here. And so it's incrementing. And so that's done in JavaScript all the time. What you don't see, and this is what's kind of cool about this, is anywhere where I'm manipulating the DOM. So like if I had to do this and I did count plus plus, I would have to do something like document dot get element by ID, find the ID of this p tag and set it to the value of current count. I don't have to do that because this @ here knows about current count in the code block. And so when this increments, it automatically will change this value.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't have to and that's called binding, which means that this variable on the front end is bound to the value of the code in the code block. And I can call it the back end. It's technically not the back end, but from the code block, these two things are in sync. So when this changes, it automatically updates this front end. And you didn't have to write any kind of DOM manipulation stuff on it. And that is one of the cool things about Blazor, because you have this this two-way binding.
Yeah, interesting.
So, cool.
I got a couple questions for you too.
Yeah.
So the Razer files are only source and won't be accessible from browser since they're outside the www root folder. Question mark.
Okay. So
which is true, right?
So what happens is, if you go over here, these are going to get injected in this page. And so also in my page here, I've got these pages right here, and they all have directives. Okay. And this tells me where I can find these pages. All right. And so in my startup, it's doing this routing engine like you would find in MVC or anything like that, where it'll find the route of that page directive and then just inject that into the main layout. So I wanted to go through the coding and not necessarily get into routing, but like these things are being injected into the page. Is what I want you to kind of understand.
But I think he's saying the actual Razer files are hidden from. If I was to look at the page and inspect the page, I wouldn't see the Razer files, right?
Yeah.
I'd see compiled JavaScript.
Yeah, and HTML. That's
okay. Right.
So let's make a page, and I think and we can just do that real quickly. So I can I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to add, and I'm going to say add a new Razer component, and I'm going to call this Fizz Buzz. All right, and I've clicked on the Razer component here. Of course, you can make all kinds of other stuff, and this is built into Visual Studio. And these are basically templates. When you click on them, it'll format the file for you. We'll call this Fizz Buzz Razer. So now you can see right here, it created something with the H3 tag, and it's got an empty code block. And what I have to do, what I was saying, is I have to give it a page directive first. Just in quotes, and it's just going to be /Fizz Buzz. Now I can call this whatever I want. That's what I'm going to do for now.
Okay.
So what I have to do now to actually get this to show up is I also have to go change my nav menu. And so just like you would anything else. Now what's cool about this is, remember when we went over templating with JavaScript? This is being injected, so I don't have to change this on multiple pages. This component is going to run wherever the nav is injected.
Right.
So you can go over here and look at the main layout, and you can see here it's just referencing that class nav menu. And this is the body. And so whatever the page directive is, that contents of that component is injected in here, and the contents of this component, which is explicitly named here, is going to be injected here. And this is kind of the layout of our main page. Okay. And so every single page will have this nav menu running on the class sidebar, which makes it appear on the left-hand side. So what I want to do is go over here to this nav menu, and if they've got questions, let me know. I can't see the comments.
Yeah, I do have a couple whenever you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
So Mr. Matrix asking, is CS HTML the same as Razer file extension?
No.
That's a different thing, right?
HTML is for MVC and ASP.NET.
Okay, and Razer is just the Razer
components.
There's a Razer component. Okay. And then Mehmet wants to know, do you think there will be a big job market for Blazor in the future?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later in this year. I do think so. We actually have a consulting customer that's running a Blazor project right now in production. And I don't know if it's going to beat traditional full stack web dev next year, but I do think you'll see a lot of projects where people are trying to build things with WebAssembly, especially for apps that don't necessarily perform well as a web app.
Okay, is that the reason they want to go to this then? Performance?
No, I think it's getting out of JavaScript bloat is a big moving driver, and then embracing the newer WebAssembly as the execution method for web applications. So whether that be Blazor on WebAssembly or I think Rust, and there's a few others that are doing this as well.
Yeah,
I do think that you want to see it. So like what we've talked about in past is like in Blazor, I think you'll see things like a video editor running natively in the web.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm looking for that real feature-rich Photoshop on the web.
Right. Something like that, where it's theoretically possible to do things like that.
Yep.
And that's what everyone's kind of jazzed about. Second thing with Blazor and WebAssembly is because you can run progressive web apps, it will run on the desktop now. And it will run in the web, and it will run on Linux. And so like those kind of things, those cross-platform type deals is really exciting to a lot of people. So, I think it's, if you're programming today and you've got a job today and you're building web stack, you should look into Blazor. You should look at it. What I'm doing is looking at it and see where it's going to go. If you need to get one job today and you don't have any skills, still learn web dev, traditional web dev tech. I think you'll more likely break in with that and then learn Blazor second.
Yep. Here's another question too. Then mobile browsers work well with this too, right? And they do, right? Because it's just
it's responsive, man.
Yep.
It's responsive because it's built with Bootstrap. This
particular thing. By the way, one thing Tim Cook says: if you switch to iPhone, he'll send you a prototype Apple Glass.
The eyeglass.
The eyeglass. And then Antonio's saying you'll never switch, but he's saying he'll send 12 Pro if you're interested. Tim Cook shilling out stuff on Twitch. I love it.
Yeah, man. So look at this. What I'm going to do here is I just copied an LI tag, and this is how you build links inside of Bootstrap. But you notice too that there's also a nav link here, which is a Blazor component. And so like now they're doing the JavaScript stuff inside of C#. So there's a collapse thing and there's a toggle menu thing. So like, and these nav links are components in itself. So just know that this is how you do this in Blazor as far as like building Bootstrap menus. Now, the one thing that I built here is I just changed the link. So this is just called Fizz Buzz. Okay, which is the name of this page directive here. So it'll go find that page directive and render this page.
Is it case sensitive?
No.
Okay.
We're going to find out, but I'm pretty sure.
I was just wondering. No, you've got it right. I mean, I'm just wondering if it is.
Well, let's just see. It might be. I'd never thought about that. So I've always just named them right. So I try to do it right.
You don't make mistakes. I get it. It's fun.
Well, I do make mistakes. I haven't made that one because I would just name them the same. But I would imagine that it's not, because it's just a directive.
Okay.
It's just saying, okay, if I put a slash in front of the web server name, it doesn't matter how Fizz Buzz is capitalized. But let's just run this and see if I did it right. And we should get our basic empty Fizz Buzz page.
And while you're running that, while that's compiling, Adam's calling out Tim Cook here, saying it's fake, because in what parallel dimension does Apple give away free stuff? So, Tim, whatever you've got for Adam, you can, send his way.
Okay, so I didn't name it so I'm going to do this right. I didn't change it. Let me just.
Okay.
I did make a mistake, and so I didn't change the actual.
Oh, there you go. You should change the text. That's all.
Let me just do that real quick.
But the link would have taken you to a different page. because you got the link part, right? You got the href part, right?
I do notice this does have to compile, so this is very similar to running like mobile apps, and you got to compile things.
I wonder if that's going to change.
Yes, they're working on that. So the first thing for Blazor, and I'm sure Christianity can talk to us about that sometime next week.
Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting topic to talk about. Yeah,
.NET 5 is coming, so they're working on that, and then I would imagine the hot reload is what I call it will be a thing.
Yep.
So as you can see now, I clicked over here and now I have my little Fizz Buzz. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
No postbacks, and you can see here's our route, and that's why you put that slash in front of it.
Okay.
And you can see you can see the route up here changing.
Yep.
So if you're coming from NBC land, you know kind of what these routes are, but or any kind of JavaScript HTML, you always have some kind of route to go to a particular page. This is what it's doing. So cool. So let's see. All right, cool. So we've now got our page up. So let's actually do some coding now, and which I think is the funnest part of this. So and just show you kind of how this works. So again, I'm going to do a little bit of HTML. How much time do we have?
15 minutes.
All right, so I think I can do it. So and then I just want to show you kind of how it kind of works. And so I've got I'm still just doing HTML, which is kind of cool, so I'm still going to mark up my UI and everything with HTML, the things that
you're just going to pull in the generated things. I don't know what would you call it, the dynamic parts using Blazor, right?
Yeah. So I've got my description here, and then one of the things that I want to do too is I want to go ahead and make some rows and columns for us to enter those values in. Okay.
You gonna do a table?
I'm going to use a table for displaying Fizz Buzz results, but I'm going to use Bootstrap.
Okay.
For displaying the two values where I can enter my 3 and my 5.
Okay.
My Fizz value and my Buzz value. Now notice here, this is a component, but it's going to pick up its style sheet from and all of its properties from the index page that's over here in www root. So this is where Bootstrap is identified here, linked up, and then my style is linked up here. So I don't have to worry about that kind of thing here. I just know that it's going to be in there because that's where it's going to be injected. So anyway, hope that makes sense. Any questions?
No, just one message from Jason. Not even on here. He sent it on Teams. He's broke the TV in the kitchen.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah.
Important.
It's super important.
So, So what I did was I just made just a div. It's got a Fizz value here, and then I'm going to make another div. And this is just Bootstrap. If you're not familiar with it, they're kind of grid system. And called to 3 means I'm going to take out 3 calls, and then I'm going to make another column here, and I'm going to put an input in here. So my input is, if I would hit my tab keys, that would be good. So, and then I'm going to give this a type of number. And so I get a lot of autocomplete here from Visual Studio, which is kind of cool. And then I'm going to do the magic. So I'm going to say @bind. This says it says binds the provided expression to the value attribute and change the event delegate to the onChange attribute. So on change, this value it'll detect the change, but I just do it with an on bind. And then I can put a C# variable in here. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. /end. All right. So now, notice the compiler's complained to me. It says the name Fizz Buzz does not exist in the current context.
Yeah, because you haven't done it yet down there, right?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some variables down here. And so that
and within this code block, now you're writing C#, right?
C#. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and set up the default. So that means when the first time this runs, I'll put a 3 in it. So this value is being injected into this value up here. So it's kind of cool, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to go ahead and make another one because, we're going to have a buzz value.
Yeah.
And so now when I'm using Blazor, Kevin, I don't need you to tell me when I messed up stuff because the compiler will
It tells you. I like that.
So,
none of that JavaScript rubbish, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really cool. And I'm going to change this bind statement here. Plus value. Now these are linked together. And so when I run this, I'll have an input box with 3 and 5 in it. And just to show you that, we'll just run it real quick.
I have a couple of questions too, whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
Troy's asking, what about hosting a Blazor app? VPS, shared hosting, Azure, etc. Can it run on most?
So if you have just a pure front-end Blazor app, like I'm doing right here, you can deploy to Netlify.
It'll run on anything, right?
Yeah, run on anywhere. If you need to have a database, you got to have somewhere where it can hit the database.
So really, the same rules apply. It's nothing different just because you're using this client-side WebAssembly. That's interesting. So how does the where does the compile part happen? Oh, because you're compiling it within Visual Studio and you're just deploying it as JavaScript. That's why, right?
Yeah. So what you do is for your publish, you have to compile it first.
Right.
And there's a folder that has your compiled elements, and that's what you push to the web server.
Right. So the point is you're not pushing C# to the web server. You're pushing the compiled JavaScript to the web server.
Right.
That's hence it can run anywhere. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a folder, if I'm correct, that has the compiled versions in it, and then you'll just take that folder,
right,
and you copy that to your web host.
Very cool. Yeah, that's neat.
And of course, this is tailor-made to saying, okay, I need a build server and all this kind of like DevOps scenarios. This is perfect for that, and you can run the build from command line. You can schedule it. You can script it. You could definitely hook it into your Git repository to watch things when something's gone to like the main branch or something like that. So there's a lot of things you can do with it, and you can kick off a build.
Okay.
And that's what the t-shirt's for. So like someone pushes code to Git, and then the build goes and tries to build the app, and it breaks.
Right.
And
and then she got to go in on a Saturday. Not that you're still bitter about it all these years later.
So like
I have another question too. It says, but can I achieve scoping by placing the @code inside the div?
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
So that's not what you want to do. So like, in fact, I'm just showing you a code block here, so it's in the same page. You can have complete classes and that you can like instantiate and call from your code. And so like I'm doing that in a bigger project right now called Movie Pro that that we're going to probably turn into some kind of one-day Blazor course. But that allows you to so it's way more sophisticated than that. Okay. So your front end is accessing these values from here, but you can scope it inside of your C# code here if you need something that needs to be scoped inside of a class or some kind of function. All of those kind of things still exist inside of C#. But this code file you could probably put in other places and things like that. It's just I'm just doing it right now. That's how I do it. I would imagine that eventually this will be built into Studio where this is a code behind.
Okay. Hey, Quix is here too. Look, I don't know if you saw, but we showed you a meme earlier. So
all right, cool.
Go back and watch the video at the beginning if you weren't here. It was good.
Yeah.
We liked it. Thank you very much for it. We appreciate it.
So so now I've got a row. I'm going to put these on different rows here just for fun because we're going to run out of time here.
Yeah.
But we can go over a little bit because I do want to get through this. Let me type in some HTML here real quick. So now I've got 2 rows, and I'm going to add a button to the page. And then I'm going to make the little click Fizz Buzz button where it says Fizz Buzz it. Okay.
Okay.
column in here. And then I just need a button. And class. And I just know these classes from Bootstrap. So I'm going to use the blue button. I know Tech Rally would say,
going to use that Bootstrap blue.
Yeah. And see, even what's cool about Visual Studio, it has a lot of really cool, it knows these classes in here.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. So, and then I have another bind statement, and this is on click. So this is the same thing. If you're doing this in JavaScript, you have an on click event. Now we're going to bind that on click event to what's in our code behind. I'm going to call this Fizz Buzz it. Or something like that. And I'm going to say Fizz Buzz it to give it a label. And that's about it there. And so you can tell right now we've got some problems. The compiler's telling us, and that's cool that it's telling us that.
Yep.
So inside this code here, now I can start writing functions just like I would in JavaScript. So I'm going to just say this doesn't do anything, so it's void. And I'm going to Fizz Buzz it. Again, this could be from a class. You can write classes. And in the course that I'm building, it gets kind of complex, where we're using a lot of dependency injection. So now this is compiled, and now this underline has went away because now I have a function called Fizz Buzz it. Okay, it's kind of neat, right? So let's talk about what we're going to do. So like one of the things that we have to do is we have to run numbers between 1 to 100, which if you know anything about Fizz Buzz, that's going to be a loop of some sort. And then we got to find multiples of 3 and 5 for our test case. And we replace the number with the value Fizz or Buzz or Fizz Buzz if they're both divisible. So in this case, 3 would print out Fizz, 5 would print out Buzz, and 15 would print out Fizz Buzz. Right?
Yep.
So that's the goal of this program. All right. So what I want to do is I want a list of Fizz Buzz items. Okay. So I'm going to use an array to hold them, which is kind of cool, right? So I'm going to create a list here. And when I do this, it's going to pick up list from C#. Okay. And I want a list of what? Well, I'm going to make a class of Buzz item or a type of Buzz items. I don't have quite yet. Okay. And, but I'm going to build it. And I'm going to say that is equal to a new list, which is just blank of type Buzz item. This is where it's cool, in my opinion, where you get a lot more capabilities than you do in here. So now I need to make this type in here, which I'm going to do right down here. So that's kind of cool. So my I'm going to make a little class. So now I've entered into Entrepreneur Programming Land. So I'm going to say Buzz item class, and I'm going to be able to pass this class from the code block up into the front end. So if you've done MVC before, you know what I'm talking about. There's a model, and it can have any number of things. But I'm just going to show you how you would pass a complete class with properties, and then on top of that, this class could have these classes could also have code. And so I've got some complex classes in Movie Pro. So I'm just going to say it's the value, which is the number or Fizz or Buzz. That's what it's going to hold. And these are properties, getter, setters. That fits in a property. And then I'm also going to inject, I want to style the colors based on the value. So I'm going to pass in an actual, what I'm going to call class name, which will be rendered out as something in CSS. Now this class, and you can see now the compiler immediately recognizes it. So now what I have, Kevin, is a strongly typed object that goes from the back to the front.
Right.
Which when you're in JavaScript land, that doesn't exist. Like
right.
You don't have, everything is like the programmer has to know what they're doing and only knows about it when you investigate it.
Right.
But now beforehand, this has been strongly typed. So hopefully this is why people are excited about Blazor, because you can now have object-oriented strongly typed objects in your code.
Very cool.
All right. I think it is. I mean, it's kind of cool. Maybe it's kind of geeky. I don't know, but like,
no, it's cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to create some Booleans here, and just so that we can facilitate our checking, and that just means I could say Fizz or Buzz, but I'm going to say Buzz is false. And what I'm going to do here, this is part of my algorithm. I'm just going to check the modulus of the numbers, and if and check the true or falseness of that.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy. So, all right, here we go. So I'm going to print this out into a bunch of tables up in HTML. We'll do that last. But I do know that because I had a problem with this, I'm going to check. The first thing I'm going to check if my Buzz items, which is that list of the items, is .count. See this? It knows it's a list. So I get this compiler telling me stuff is greater than 0. So I want to know if I've run this before. And if I have, I want to clear them. I want to clear them out. I want to do it again. So I don't want to have like 1 to 100 multiple times if I run it.
Oh, right. Yep. Because would it just keep appending to the list? Okay. Okay.
I'm going to clear it out first. A little simple cleanup thing. And see, but since it knows this type, and you can see here, if you can look real close, that says list of Buzz types. Visual Studio knows this is the type, and it knows what type it is. Therefore, these functions are valid, count and clear. So like,
it's cool
because it knows about it. Okay, so we can write a for loop. This will look a lot like JavaScript if you've done it before. We're going to start at 1, and is less than or equal to 100. That's how many times I want to go. So I'm going to run it to 1 to 100. And every time that it loops around, I want to add 1 to it. So that's just a simple loop here. And so that's a for statement in C#. It's pretty cool, right? So here's the magic for Fizz Buzz. So Fizz equals, and I'm going to do a check here. And I'm going to say I, which is the current number. And I don't really want to teach Fizz Buzz here because we've done I've got a whole half-an-hour movie on this. but I% Fizz Buzz is the modulus of this.
Yeah.
And I want to check to see if that's equal to 0.
Yeah.
Which, if you know, just like in JavaScript and other language, equal is a comparison, and equal is an assignment. So this statement will return true or false. This is Fizz value. Okay. So this is these values right here.
Yep.
All right. So whatever I plugged in, 3 or 5, it's going to take the modulus of 5 or the 3 value. All right. Then I just got to do the same thing, and I'll just copy it for real quick. And I'm going to change this to Buzz value. So when 3 comes in, for example, 3 modulus the Fizz value of 3, that will be 0. 3 modulus the Buzz value 5 will not be 0. Okay, so this will be true and that'll be false.
Yep.
When it's 15, both of these will be true. When it's 5, Buzz will be true, Fizz will be false. So that's Fizz Buzz.
Yep.
All right. So that's kind of now all we got to do is figure out okay, let's figure out our display of this. And then I just check if Fizz and this is just kind of how you do it in C#. Buzz, which means that they're both true, do something.
Yep.
All right. And then I'm going to add to this array, and then I'm going to print this array out. So my array or my list is Buzz items dot. See, right, I get that cool IntelliSense. And this is just how you add a new item in here. It's going to be a new Buzz item. And again, it's highlighting in green saying, hey, I know that type. I don't have to worry about, did I tell it right? And inside this, it's saying, hey, you know what? At the values of the property of Buzz item here, it's already giving me hints there. So class name, okay, equals Fizz Buzz. And I'm going to use these in my CSS here. And then I can put a comma right after this. I can say value equals And because it's both true, I can say Fizz Buzz.
Yep.
That's just going to be the string that gets printed out on this kind of cool. So this is object-oriented programming using the power of C#, and I can go down here through my 3 cases. Okay, and I'm going to put an else in here. Could do it with a switch. There's 5 ways I could do this.
Yep.
But I'm just going to do it. And so now that since we know Fizz and Buzz is true, we added it, but now we can just check the singular cases. Hey, what if it's just Fizz? Okay. And we can say class name is Fizz. And we just want the value of Fizz here. Cool, right? Gotta put my semicolons in here. But the compiler's telling me. It wouldn't tell me, man. I was doing C#, it wouldn't tell me. You know, it's kind of crazy. I know, shocking, right? And so I'm going to do a buzz here, and so this is getting a little bit redundant, but we're actually almost done here. So, any questions right now while I'm typing this up?
No. Quicks wants to know, what are your thoughts on TypeScript?
I like it.
That's because it's a
different skill. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's type safe. Yeah.
It's type safe. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
So, and then finally, my last condition here is the else condition, which I'm just going to add. I'm just going to copy this in here. And so I'm taking the I to string, which just means I want to just put the number in.
Yep.
That's it. And then the class name is no buzz.
No buzz.
That's kind of cool. But we gotta and that's it, man. That is all of Fizz Buzz. All right. So, but I haven't done anything to make this show up on the screen yet.
Right.
And so what I want to do is do that within HTML. And because I can, it knows that these are bound together, it makes it real easy for me to do this. So I'm going to copy some HTML in here.
Just for the sake of time.
Quicker. Sake of time, because it take me a second. All right. So like I've got a div class here. And I've got a row, and I'm going to do table responsive, and I've got a table, and I've got a T head, another one. And you notice it's telling me that there's no unclosed div tag, which is kind of cool for Visual Studio. We're going to close these up in a second. But I wanted to show you kind of how this kind of works. So inside this T body here, I'm going to make right now. I'm going to run a for loop. And I use the @ sign, so now I have C#. And if you've done MVC, this should be very familiar with you. And now I can run code inside of here. And I'm going to start at 0 because arrays start at 0. And I'm going to say I, and I'm going to say plus equals 10 because I'm going to print out 10 at a time for each iteration of the loop.
Okay.
If you've done templating before, this is a simple way to do templating. And I'm going to cut and paste some code in here because I just want to show you kind of how it works and not necessarily how to do everything in here.
Yeah.
So you can see here, I'm referencing buzz items that's at position 0 and the property class name and buzz items, item 0 at the property value. And so it knows about this. And you can see there in the IntelliSense, it's telling me that it knows all about these, which is very cool. So it's checking this at build before it's built. It's kind of neat. All right. And so I'm going to close these out. And I think it'll work now.
Let's see.
So I'm going to go ahead and compile this, and it should work unless I forgot something in my haste.
Let's see. While you're doing that, Maverick says my voice sounds better than yours. You know why?
Okay.
It's because he can hear me clearly, but couldn't hear you. He says your voice was soft. I'm just kidding.
My voice is soft. Okay.
But look, he says he can hear me more clear, which is crazy because my microphone's about $50. Your microphone's about $400.
Maybe it's too far away.
I think, yeah, and Adam knows what's going on. It's the difference between these two mics, and that's what it is. If you're not on top of your mic, it doesn't sound great. I can be across the room and mine sounds okay, but yours is way better quality than mine.
It says I have an error, but we'll see.
Oh, well, let's see.
It's got an error.
I like it. You know, I love errors. It's my favorite bit.
Let me just see if I can do it. I'm ready to look at it. I typed it up. Row, Fizz Buzz value.
It's my favorite part, unless we can't solve it in a short time.
Yeah, I know. So I probably may have left a semicolon out somewhere, maybe. Should have caught it in the compiler, but yeah, we don't know. Can always put it through the debugger. I was going to show that when it was working.
Oh.
But you know, right here. That's the code block.
So how do you know where this is failing then?
I could look in here and run the debugger and start looking at see what the
okay.
So let me look on that. So let me just pull this over here. I'm just gonna fix that later because I feel like we're running out of time.
Well, you ran out of time 12 minutes ago, but you're good.
Yeah. So this is the same code. I just made a typo somewhere. I'll figure it out later. But I just want to show you kind of how it works and how the debugger works real quick.
Oh, so this is the other one that you had already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I built it out. So like I can Fizz Buzz it, and so now this is working. So like, what is cool about this? This is what's cool about it, and I'm going to change this. And of course, it changes the values here. But what should be motivating to you is that this loop here, let me make this bigger. This loop here is running off of an object that's in the code behind.
Right.
And so as we go through this code here, you should notice that I'm not doing anything about manipulating the DOM or anything like that. So I don't have any of these get element by IDs and all this kind of DOM manipulation part of doing this. I don't have to worry about that at all. It just knows what the current values are when it runs through this loop. And that's kind of one of the reason that people are like really digging this.
Sam wants to know, can you make the method auto run when we change the value?
Sure, I could just put on a different event. Yeah, absolutely. So like anything that I could do here, like on an on change or whatever it is, I can make that do that. Those are all events inside the browser that you can do. I just wanted to show you kind of like how to wire a button up, and like, you know, when I run the button, it's not accessing. You don't have to do anything. You just reference the underlying type to this,
right?
And these are bound. So when this changes, the results will change on the page. It's very cool. It's instantaneous, and it's always looking for when the values change. When I say bound, you don't have to click the button to notice the change. The moment that I change this, that's already changed behind the scenes.
Right. You're just right.
You know, I'm just making it so you can see it.
Right.
So it's just a simple way
to
see it, but it's already changed. So here's what's cool. We can actually step through this too, I believe, if I can get it to work. Let me click on, there it is. And so now I should be able to, if I'm running debug, if not, I have to restart it. Yeah. So the debugger stopped right here in the back end of the code. And this is kind of small, but you can see the items inside of this array.
Yeah, they are small.
Yeah.
But I see that there.
Yeah, you can see them there. And so like I can investigate this array in real time, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I can add watches to this. I can do a lot of things that that you expect to be able to do in any kind of debugger. It's kind of neat. So now this watch right here has Fizz. The value is 3. And I can step over this code as it goes through the loop. So you get full debugging. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the debugging's kind of new that they've gotten out in this year. I mean, all of this is real new. So
yeah,
that's Blazor. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, what's next if you're building a Blazor project? All right, how do I do authentication? You should Google that. And then how do I access a database would be the next part of it.
Okay.
But typically what I would do with a Blazor project is build a web API backend that's accessing the database in C#, and then call those methods from my Blazor client-side app. And so that's kind of what I would do. Or you could use something like server-side Blazor, and then that kind of round trip is built in for you with SignalR. There's a couple of ways to do it.
Cool.
So
it's good stuff.
Hopefully they like it. So I'm back. So only 16 minutes over. So hopefully that's liking it.
No, that's good. No, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
All
right. Cool.
A lot there. Let's see here. Oh, Adam had a suggestion to make it even more complex. Look, okay, now make the start and ending values for the range into user-provided variables.
Yeah,
you can do that too. Yeah.
I didn't want. Yeah, I was just wanted to show you Blazor, not necessarily show you how far we can take Fizz Buzz, which I've done a couple of times in a couple of different videos. So it's really not about the logic of Fizz Buzz. It's more about like what you can do, and that these values are bound from the code block to the front end, and you don't have to do anything with them. And that's what's got people jazzed. It's easier to do once you know C#.
Right. Couple last things. Damien says he got Damien Murphy Morris said he got a 70, just tested a 70 on the test. Is that decent enough?
Depends on who's coming in for the year, for the cohort you're applying for.
Yeah, it depends. I'll tell you honestly, the average is about 80.
Yeah.
And 80%. If you can score in the 90s, then yes. But that average is about an 80. Over, I don't know how many people have taken it now. Thousands. But that's generally where we see. We have one thing to, I'm going to say promote today. We have an upcoming Xamarin class.
Yeah, Xamarin class. Yeah.
You can go to coderefinery.com/mobile if you're interested in that. We still do have seats open for that. That's the week of August 17th. So it is a week
Antonio Rayner, Director of Education, will be teaching it, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be there too, teaching part of it.
You'll be there doing something in it.
Yeah. So
so we may be live that week.
More than Hello World, I think. So like if you want to be in one of my classes, I think I'm going to be there.
Cool.
So August 17th. Should be good. Just kicking out some Xamarin knowledge to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
what are we building during that? What are we doing?
Ticket Pro.
Oh, Ticket Pro. That's it. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So like if you want to know what you're going to build, like Ticket Pro is an app that we built internally that allows you to geolocate tickets and apply those to areas on a map, and then automatically assign those tickets based on a person's service area.
I'm going to make a mobile version of that in Xamarin.
Mobile Ticket Pro.
I like it.
With a .NET Core web backend.
Okay.
Using Azure notification hubs.
Okay, so what that tells me is this class is not for a newbie.
No,
you've got to be somebody who's already you got to be somebody who's already familiar with.
The audience is like, hey man, if you're building apps, or you're like a seasoned web developer and you've been tasked with building applications, and your boss come to you and said, hey, I need a Xamarin app or I need a mobile app. This is the class for you because you already understand kind of what we're doing. We're also going in deep into the design pattern, like MVVM, how you structure the app on your mobile, dependency injection, is another thing of like, how do I get controls passed around, those kind of things. So like we go deep into like, how do I really do this for a living on an enterprise class project? Hello world is not taught in this class.
There's no hello world.
There's no hello world, man. This ain't your mom's hello world class. So like, so if you're looking at Xamarin to do for a living, this is the class you take. We've looked around, and I'm not being conceited here, but we looked at all the Xamarin education out there, and all of them go through the control list for a week, and they just talk about the controls you can put on the page. And there's never really a class that says, yeah, I get that. I can put a button on a page. I understand XAML, but like, how do I build this for real? Like for real.
Right. You got to actually build something.
Like how do I get it published? Like, how do I, how does this work? What do I do?
So we actually build something and deploy it too, right? We deploy it to
Azure.
To Azure. Okay.
Yeah. And then notification hubs inside of Azure. How do I scale something to the millions of notifications? So let's say that I was running this Xamarin app for Time Warner Cable or Comcast. Would it scale? The one we're building would. That's what it's for. This isn't so I can accept 10 requests to who's come to my party at Yale. That's not what we're doing here. So like, it's definitely a thing that you want to build.
Okay.
And if you want to learn how to build it, do it.
Cool. So if you're interested, check out codefinder.com/mobile. You can sign up there. You can grab a copy of the syllabus there too. And you can apply there as well. So, yeah. And
so Adam wants to take the Xamarin class. Hit me up, Adam. I got a special deal for moderators and CF grads.
I would hit him up on that, Adam. Okay, cool. I think that's it. I think that's all we got today.
That's it.
Tomorrow we have another pre-produced video, and it is a doozy. It is a 5 coding project ideas video. So I'm sure you've all seen our 1 coding project idea. So we've added 4 more to that to make a total of 5. One of them being this same app that you're talking about. So
Ticket Pro.
Ticket Pro.
Yeah, so we're building Ticket Pro at Xamarin, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's four other newer ideas that you may or may not have, depending on how much you followed us, but there's 4 ideas for a total of 5. So yeah, that'll be out tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. our time. I've got it scheduled for. It's ready to roll. And we'll be back live on Monday.
So see you tomorrow. Hey, like and subscribe us if you can. Follow me on Twitter at CT Bobby Davis if you can. We've got a poll out there today if you're interested in what to do.
Go do the poll. Oh, actually, we had some good answers yesterday to your thing when we were talking about some other like names. I forgot. There was one that was like predominantly like everybody was like, of course it's like MicroTalk. Like, why would it be called anything else? I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. There was one answer that like almost everybody had. So it's pretty interesting. One last thing from Tim Cook. He says, Adam, due to COVID, revenue's higher than normal, so you rocking the iPhone is free advertising for Apple. So thanks, Tim. Whenever you want to send that across, that would be awesome.
Thanks, Tim.
If you want to send me a Mac Pro, I will happily use it here.
One guy says he's not ready yet. That's what no. If you're doing Xamarin right now, you're ready for the class. That's what we're here to do, is teach you. So what we're saying is we're not going to teach you how to do a for loop in this class.
Right. Don't show up.
Teach you C# in this class.
Yeah.
But if you're done Xamarin Forms or Xamarin Native and you know what XAML is and BKG, if you know what I'm talking about, you're absolutely ready for this class. This is what this will take your Xamarin game to the next level, and showing you how to build an enterprise class Xamarin project. So you're ready if you want to do it. I'm not trying to oversell it. I'm just saying that don't think that you can't. That we're here to teach you. That's what we're here to do.
Yep.
So.
Okay, we will see you guys on Monday.
All right, see you later.